Tom, how you doing?
Good, Chad. How are you?
Doing great.
With all that's gone on in the last couple of months, it's real easy for a defensive unit when you're down 17 and a half to kind of pack it up and flip on to the next thing. What was it about this team that day that made sure that didn't happen?
That's a course of 10 months of work. That's a course of 20 years of work in some of these parents. When you look at just what's inside of those young men, we saw it earlier in the season. You look at the Illinois game and how we had to battle and fight. You look at even Idaho, it wasn't easy, didn't start well. Western Kentucky had to take that one to overtime. These young men, they've got a resiliency to them, Tom. They fight, they have grit. They care about you guys have asked me, over the course of weeks now, like, what did you see in them? And I've answered, right? They've got toughness. They've got grit. That hasn't changed. That's in these young men's DNA. And they were going to show up. They were going to fight. They were going to battle, regardless of the circumstances. And they found a way. Really proud of them. Really proud of them. It's their DNA.
Coach, how's it going?
Great.
Going back to fall camp, how much awareness did Bryant have that he could possibly play linebacker at some point this year? And specifically this past week, take us through like what it took to get him ready to do that.
Yeah, that's certainly a process, and there were some mistakes, we're not going to go get caught up on those. But, actually through the course of the season, you guys wouldn't know this, we've actually practiced fits since Cam Jones got hurt. We've practiced fits at linebacker some. So he's done this a little bit. It was emergency situations. He was the fourth guy that was going to maybe go in. But so he had gotten some practice reps as we've gone through the season. And you knew he had an understanding of it. Yeah, that's one of the things, as I've talked to NFL scouts even, this fall about Fitz. I just tell him, give him a chance. Give him a chance. He's really, really smart. He's really, really competitive. And he's going to do everything right that you ask him. Again, back to the answer for Tom. It's in his DNA. I think he could play mentally. He could play any position on defense. I think he would know what to do. He's just that smart and intelligent. Now, we're not going to go ask him to play nose guard. Don't worry about that. And ask him to take on a double team. Physically, I don't know if that would be in his or our best interest. But he has that type of mental capability when you just look at about football savvy, football awareness. So, and luckily the position he moved into, our stinger backer, is who he works right behind in the free safety position. So there's an awareness walking, 6 more yards up to play that position from where he was playing. And he knows the jobs, responsibilities, how those two communicate together, the calls and the connectivity that they have, and in the defense as well. So that certainly helped, him also.
You've got a lot of the guys on your side of the ball that basically are seniors in the sense that they cannot come back. There's not even a COVID year, whatever. And those are guys that obviously I know you've not been around for all their careers, but they've sort of achieved a lot here and sort of had sort of a collective journey. Have you seen anything different from them in the last, 2-3 weeks? I know you don't want them to be crazy different, but they wouldn't be human if maybe they weren't recognizing kind of the finish line.
Yeah, there was certainly awareness. I mean, Lance Bryant and I had a conversation last Tuesday. Hey, 2 more Tuesday practices, so there's an awareness. But to their credit, I don't think it's become a focus. It's become something that they're just it's become all-encompassing for them. There's still things, fortunately for us, as the season has gone on, not necessarily the way we would have wanted, but we finished with 2 games that really mattered, Zach, like two trophy games. So there's still been something for them to play for. They're not just playing out the string, so to speak. That they've got something to attain, they've got something to achieve, and you look at the history of this program, the ability to, win both of these trophies in the same year. That's a pretty big feat. And so there's still something left for these young men to play for and prepare for. And we challenged them today for every man to elevate your preparation so that you can elevate your performance. Right? Let's elevate our preparation. Let's elevate our process. Because every guy can still get better at something, a little fundamental, a little detail. And if we'll elevate our preparation, we can elevate our performance again on Saturday. And that's the challenge. Purdue's a good football team, and we got to elevate our performance and continue to fight to play better, whether you're the true freshman like Philip Dunham or you're the 6th-year senior like Bryant Fitzgerald. Every man's got to work to elevate their performance on Saturday.
Chad, against Michigan State, defense kind of struggled in the second quarter, turned things around. Just what did you see as the difference? What were the adjustments there?
It's funny. We actually talked about that this morning. When we went into halftime, we didn't make any, zero schematic adjustments. We pointed out, this is what they are doing. This is what we're seeing. These are the formations you're getting these plays out of. These are what you can expect. Let's just go execute. And I know that sounds a little bit like cliche, come on, that's just coach talk. We really, we had one pressure that we had not called that was in our game plan that we called in the second half. We called it, I think, twice. So it wasn't like this new, it just, hey, here's how we need to execute this better. This is the formation. This is what we're getting this call, this check. How can we execute this better? It was just getting the guys locked in on what they were seeing, and then let's go execute against these formations and these packages. And the guys really responded to that.
Chad, I guess this question is probably a negative one, but I'm asking the question because we've seen a lot of it this year, the big plays that the defensive backfield's giving up. And is there a rhyme or reason why there have been so many? And, of course, the second quarter was a perfect example.
Eye discipline is a big part of it. Yeah, and then you got to trust your fundamentals, your technique. We had a mistake, a mental error on the first play of the game. It was an eye violation. And those guys have to, maybe more than anybody, really trust and train their eyes. And I think that's one of the things for them. And then they got to trust and train, their training and their technique. And okay, when you're playing off, this is when you start to open your hips, right? You got to let him close your cushion. Or you're playing press, right? You got to, not open the gate for him right away. And, so. It's really for us to continue to stress them, right? The fundamentals of the techniques and position from, again, eye discipline to, just the discipline of, okay, hey, I'm going to be at, we call it no man's land, right? Can I play a hard cover two here, or can I be in a bail man here, off man? And, for those guys to trust the training of that. So.
Coach, we saw the social media clip of Mark Deal leading the singing of the fight song on the plane. Did you know that he was going to do that before it happened?
And, that was discussed in Tuesday morning team meeting. That was discussed that we're gonna bring that spittoon because Mark has the advance for the travel, so he left the stadium about the third quarter to go to the airport to have everything ready at the airport, so the team could just walk in and go. So Mark Deal didn't get to be there in the locker room to celebrate. So it was discussed that you guys are bringing that spittoon back on this plane, and I'm not gonna be able to sing the fight song with you in the locker room, so we're gonna sing it on the plane again too. So that's the story behind that.
What was it just like being there for that?
I've had a chance in some of in different programs to be a part of trophy games, and they're all special. They all mean something, and they all mean something different to different people because of their history at those places. I was at West Point. A lot of people have a lot of history at that place, and it means a lot for them to beat Navy. Being at Minnesota last year and us beating Wisconsin, winning Paul Bunyan's, axe, there's a lot of people that have a lot of investment and a lot of care in that. And this is just another place where Mark Deal loves this university so deeply. And to be able to see Mark Deal celebrate and find the joy for me, that was part of the joy for me in that moment, was his joy. Right? It was great to see our players win and what's been a tough season. It hasn't been, again, up to what we would hoped or expected. But for them to still see some fruits of their labors and their toils and their battles and their struggles be fulfilled, it was really, that was a lot of the joy for me. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.